Here is the scary reality. We are at a fork in the road, and if we do not choose, the choice will be made for us. This is not just a vlog. This is a warning. Before I even introduce myself, I want to start with a simple premise. All of the issues we face today are related, and the root cause is because it all points to our inability to interact with each other for mutual gain. Climate change, inequality, racism, discrimination, fascism, loneliness, AI, war, economic instability. These problems look separate, but they are not. They are all expressions of the same underlying pattern. That pattern is the winner-loser paradigm. Hi, I'm Scott Layton. This is the Renaissance Spirit channel and part of My Expat Life series. As we take this 4K walking tour through Tirana, Albania, I'll tell you what I mean. When I moved to Albania, I didn't expect to see the same winner-loser system playing out in different clothing, but it's here too, just like everywhere else. Throughout history, systems built on extraction and domination follow the same arc. Feudalism concentrated land and power at the top until peasants revolted. Colonial empires extracted wealth from entire regions until resistance and collapse followed. Early industrial capitalism produced immense growth while grinding workers into poverty until labor movements forced reform. This is not opinion, it is historical pattern. Winner-loser systems always produce instability because they concentrate gains and distribute losses. Over time, the number of losers grows larger than the system can manage. We are living in the late stage of that pattern right now. Look at the economy. Our economic system is built on competition. Companies compete for market share. Investors compete for returns. Workers compete for jobs. For someone to win, someone else must lose. This is not accidental. This is how the system is designed. As competition intensifies, companies consolidate. Wages stagnate. Jobs become precarious. Costs are externalized onto people and the planet. Growth continues, but security disappears. Individuals feel this immediately. A woman in Tirana spends 60% of her income on rent, while international investors buy up entire buildings for short-term stays. The market grows, but the people shrink. Housing becomes unaffordable. Healthcare becomes a financial risk. Education becomes debt. Time becomes scarce. People move into survival mode. When survival becomes the priority, mutual aid weakens. Now look at inequality. Inequality is not a side effect. It is the output of winner-loser systems. Resources flow upward. Power follows. Those at the bottom are told to compete harder, while the rules remain unchanged. Eventually, people realize the game is rigged. Trust collapses. Now look at racism and discrimination. When systems create insecurity, division becomes useful. Elites benefit when people blame each other instead of the structure. Race, identity, nationality, and culture are weaponized to prevent cooperation. Winner-loser systems need scapegoats. Division replaces solidarity. Now look at politics. Political systems were built for compromise, but when captured by winner-loser economics, policy serves donors, gridlock becomes the norm, and public trust collapses. People stop believing cooperation works, so they turn to domination. This is where authoritarianism and fascism emerge. Fascism is not random. Historically, it rises when people feel locked into losing positions, and democracy cannot deliver relief. It promises order through force when cooperation feels impossible. Now look at the global system. The United Nations was built after World War II to prevent this cycle. In theory, shared rules, shared humanity, shared enforcement. In practice, enforcement is selective. Take Donald Trump's actions against Venezuela. This isn't about defending Maduro or any other dictator. It is about structure. It's about consistency. Under international law, threatening or using force to change another country's government is a violation. But when powerful nations act outside the law and can veto consequences, we don't have global justice. We have selective enforcement. Under the United Nations Charter, Article 2, Section 4, the threat or use of force against another state is prohibited. Trump's openly threatened regime change, imposed collective punishment through sanctions, and took military action, including regime change. Many legal scholars argue these actions were unconstitutional domestically and illegal under international law, and yet nothing happened. Why? Because the United States has veto power on the Security Council, so the most powerful actors can break the rules and block accountability. That is not order. That is managed lawlessness. When the strongest are above the law, cooperation collapses everywhere else. Now look at social life. As economic pressure rises and political trust collapses, communities fragment, third places disappear. Third places are the informal spaces where people gather without an agenda: cafes, churches, libraries, parks, community centers. They are where trust is built slowly. When they disappear, isolation grows. Dating apps replace matchmaking, but they are not designed to help you find a partner. They are designed to keep you swiping. Attention is the product. Hope is monetized. Rejection becomes normalized. This changes how we see each other. People stop seeing potential partners, friends, or neighbors. They see competitors, options, risks, or stepping stones. This is the winner-loser mindset infecting human relationships. Now look at AI. AI is not inherently dangerous, but in winner-loser systems, it accelerates harm. Companies and countries race to deploy it first with no regard to safety or care for impact. Workers lose leverage, surveillance expands, power concentrates faster than ever. The same logic applies: advantage now, consequences later. Now look at climate change. Climate change is the ultimate test of cooperation, and winner-loser systems fail it completely. Short-term profit beats long-term survival. Costs are pushed onto the future. Responsibility is avoided. Climate change worsens inequality. Inequality fuels conflict. Conflict blocks cooperation. The cascade continues. This is why everything feels like it is getting worse at once. It is not chaos. It is a cascade of systems operating exactly as designed. And through every stage, the same thing is lost: the ability to work together for mutual aid. This is what game theory calls a zero-sum equilibrium. Everyone knows cooperation would help. Everyone knows the system is destructive, and yet no one moves first because the system punishes those who do. The math doesn't add up anymore. So here's the fork in the road. We can continue playing this winner-loser game until it collapses under its own weight. Or we can choose something different. That means changing systems and structures by organizing, demanding reform, and rebuilding institutions around shared benefit. But it also means changing ourselves. It means rejecting the mindset that says we must win even if others lose. It means seeing each other not as competitors in a rigged game, but as collaborators in a shared future. That is why I wrote The Social Contract of the Commons. Because the commons is what all these systems consume and never protect: the planet, the people, the trust, the future. Hope still matters. Hope is not pretending things are fine. Hope is choosing to act anyway. Because if we do nothing, history tells us what comes next: war, collapse, suffering we may not be able to undo. We still have a choice. We can work together now, or we can wait for catastrophe and hope we survive it. So talk with friends, with family, with people who disagree with you. Ask them this: are we ready to stop playing a game where someone must lose and start building new systems and something where everyone can live? Then ask yourself, where am I still playing the winner-loser game in my own life? What would it mean to build connection instead of competition with neighbors, co-workers, strangers? Start there. Choose one system: housing, education, climate, and ask, how can I contribute to a solution that benefits many, not just a few? What do we need to do together to shift the odds in everyone's favor? Figure it out, then do it. Because if we do not choose, history will choose for us. And this time, we may not get another chance. Let me know what you think.